One of the most difficult things about depression or going through something like this is कि सबसे पहले to admit to yourself that you're going through this, to admit to yourself that you need help, because हमें ego बहुत होती है, or to acknowledge that I need more help than I am capable of. I need outside help is a very difficult thing to admit. For me, the most important thing in life is awareness. Because if we are not aware of what drives us, then I don't believe there's such a thing as free will. We are on strings, we're a puppet to our past, and we're acting and reacting in ways we don't know, we don't understand, it's not in our control. It's when we know why we're doing something, then we can do something, then free will, then you have a choice. Every emotion, there's no such thing as a negative emotion. Every emotion is there for a reason. Even emotions that we think of as negative, jealousy, hatred, anger. अगर आप anger को भी उठा के देखें तो आपको नीचे उसके से helplessness या frustration या sadness आपको मिलेगी. It's just easier to be angry than one of these emotions. Every emotion is there to give you some information about what's going on with you.
I was diagnosed with depression when I moved back to Pakistan. I was abroad for a few years. I moved back about 5 years ago. And I think when I was initially started having my panic attacks and all of that, people around me, including doctors that I went to, couldn't really understand what was going on. And for them, the first thing that they said was, oh, maybe you're epileptic. And then I came across this excellent psychiatrist who took one look at me and said, oh, it's just plain old depression, you'll be fine. Myself, and they were learning about the illnesses and about me. So I think the arts has really played a big role in how I saw myself and how I became self-aware. So I wanted to pass that on. We use mental health illnesses as adjectives to describe people that we may not like. I think a lot of us, for example, have called our ex-boyfriends and girlfriends psychotic without really realizing what that means. A lot of us have usually said, इसने message का reply नहीं किया, मैं तो depression में चला गया हूँ, for example, right? And the second we start using these mental health illnesses, the names of illnesses, as adjectives to describe people, we're trivializing it. We're effectively trivializing those who are actually going through it, and that is what ends up, so when people actually do come forward, if they're depressed and they come forward saying that we're going through depression, you don't take it as seriously as you should.
It's largely because of the fact that I truly believe that if you can make a difference in anybody's life, it is when that person is a child or in adolescent years. And these are the years of make and break. Unfortunately, we expect a lot from parents. We expect a lot from teachers. We expect a lot from students without actually ever helping them build the requisite skills to perform what they are expected to do. That the first part of the brain that we develop as human beings is our auditory cortex, our capacity to hear. Because of the fact that the child, as it is conceived and is growing up, hears a drum beat. What is that drum beat? Heart. A healthy society is built around possibilities that are generated by the culture to deal with distress, anguish, anxieties, aggressions, hostilities, which are normal, regular emotions of people. Psychiatrists, on the contrary, are dealing with diseases. People are not sick. Mental health issues as compared to cardiac or renal or liver or bodily issues is largely because of the fact that the organ with which you appreciate that the heart has gone wrong and the kidneys are not functioning well is the brain. But if the brain goes wrong, the kidneys cannot tell it. The heart cannot tell it. So the organ which was supposed to tell you about the mental health issues has gone wrong. And therein comes relationships and community. Particularly school is an ideal setting. And I'll go back to schools again and again because they are our real chance of change. That's a place where you can change things. School. That is where you need to start to take them, the students, the parents and the teachers as a community. Because of the fact that all other communities have now stopped to be. Mahalla does not exist anymore. There is no mahalla. I don't know who's living next door to me. The need is that schools need to open up to parents, schools need to open up to teachers, and schools need to open up for social interaction as much as knowledge. The illness called sadness is an equalizer.
Okay.
Once depression starts as a disease, it's going to hit the male and the female alike. And now the female will also go quiet, and the male will also go quiet. Female will also not sleep properly at night or wake up at 2:30 in the morning feeling absolutely agitated and restless and miserable because of her depression. And so would the male. So this needs to be understood, that disease is an equalizer, but sadness in itself is an experience that females have one way and males have it another. Suicide is a very, very strong symptom of an underlying pathology. It's a symptom. The tragedy with this symptom is this muhavra कि जो गरजते हैं वो बरसते नहीं. This is ridiculous when it comes to suicide. People who eventually commit suicide, and we call it psychological autopsy. When we do a psychological autopsy of people who have completed suicide, they had dropped hints about that they want to kill themselves. They had written a note, they have left a note, they have written a message to somebody about it. But nobody took it seriously. Nobody's taken it seriously. It's like a cancer speaking out. Mark my words. A psychological cancer speaking out, saying, please help me. It's a cry for help. And therefore, it's very important to understand suicide as a symptom. And to believe if somebody says this, look, I want to kill myself. He means it, she means it. That's very, very important for teachers, for parents to understand this as well. That's number one. So early detection of this. Secondly, the moment there is this red flag about suicide, please see a psychiatrist or a mental health professional. Please see a mental health professional straight away. Don't take it lightly. कोई बात नहीं बेटा. सबसे जुल्म हम पता क्या करते हैं? सुसाइड जैसे कोई आदमी कहने लगता है खुदा का खौफ खाओ. कैसी बुरी बात कर रहे हो? तुम्हें पता नहीं है सुसाइड हराम है? Does he give a damn actually? He doesn't give a damn. ये इस तरह के डायलॉग जो है ये हेल्थ के ज़माने में बोलने की ज़रूरत होती है. उस वक्त बोलें, ये बताएं कि जिस्म की हिफाजत करना बड़ा ज़रूरी है, ये बताएं ज़िंदगी बहुत प्यारी है, ज़िंदगी उसको प्यारी करके दिखाएं. लेकिन जब उसके साथ हो गया है ना जो होना था, अब उसको उठाएं और अस्पताल ले जाएं भाई.
Mindfulness is a practice that helps you quieten your mind, जिसको हमारे यहाँ ध्यान भी कहा भी जाता है. It's a meditative practice. It's basically a practice to become quieter inside. And when you're quieter inside, you actually have a lot more agency, a lot more control, a lot more internal resource and strength to resist different kinds of tensions. Behaviors are, some part of them may be born, we are born with them, but a really big part of them is about socialization. So, we socialize men into their men are, let's just say men are socialized into certain kinds of ways of being. Boys don't cry. That's accurate. So boys don't cry, and then women may be socialized into other ways of being. And I really want to underscore that both of these socializations are abnormal. They're abnormal. All humans cry, all humans feel anger. जिस तरह से डॉक्टर साहब ने कहा, all humans feel gloom and sadness. All humans fundamentally do want to connect in a place of sadness. But we have socialized, unfortunately, men in our society to not express themselves. Eating to reduce stress. So also called stress-related eating, emotional eating. And it can become very difficult actually after a while. So I personally have engaged in it. And it's I wouldn't say it's very common only in women, but it is specifically common in women. And I will just give a nugget of action, and feel free to come and talk to me afterwards. So just nugget of action. If you want to do some stress-related eating, Take that food, don't villainize yourself. Don't tell yourself कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, ये कितनी गलत बात है, मैं कितनी ख़राब हूँ, मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, and walking in that and eating. Don't do that. Just place the food on a plate in front of you. Place it there, just a little bit of distance, and just take a breath in. And just pick it up, have one bite, feel it, really feel it in your mouth. Like, how does that chocolate taste, or whatever, like roast, how does that taste? Just feel it. And then take another breath. Then have another bite. Basically, just save. This is a technique called savoring. You take something, you just really enjoy it. Don't tell yourself कि मैं इतनी खराब हूँ, मैं chocolate कितनी खाती हूँ मैं. Just let that go. Just at that moment, be with it. Fully enjoy it.